I want to welcome Elizabeth Wood to the stage. Elizabeth and I met in 2018. She will fill you in on the complete story. Last year I said to Elizabeth, you will take the stage this year and share with us your self-image paradigm shift story and what the reality of this lived experience looks like when you say yes to you. Elizabeth started in thinking into results in 2018, and her result will astonish you, what she has created over the last 7 years. So please welcome to the stage, Elizabeth Wood.
You? Oh yeah, I need that. Yeah, thank you. I just clicked the thing to... All right, I'll figure it out. Wow, hello everyone. I have to admit, standing up here today, speaking in front of you, feels like a big moment for me. I am not someone who naturally gravitates towards the spotlight. I'm usually more of an introverted type and work behind the scenes of the company. Simone over there is the networking queen of this team. So when Karen asked me to stand up in front of a crowd for the first time in my life, I almost had a mini panic attack. But I knew I wanted to stand up here today and speak to you about my story around self-image and how self-image ultimately dictates whether you achieve your goals or not. So as I share my story today, I would just like to say that my life was never bad at any point in time, but I always understood it could get better. I'm sure everyone in this room and on the live stream have reached a certain level of success, but I assure you it can always get better. We may all want different things in life or at different stages, but the one thing we all have in common is that our self-image controls the results we attract. So your self-image paradigm controls 7 major areas of your life. However, I'll be touching on a few today that have changed dramatically for me from working with Karen over the last 7 years. So 7 years ago, I was lost. I had just come back home from backpacking and living abroad for the last 4 years. I had seen beautiful places, met incredible people, but when I came back home, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And on top of that, I was experiencing deep grief. I had just lost my best friend in an accident at the age of 19, and the weight of that loss was heavily impacting me. I began attracting people into my life that were not serving me well, and I fell into a pretty dark place. And it's funny how the universe brings people into your life when you need them the most, because when I first met Karen, I was at a crossroads in my life, and she truly changed the trajectory of it. So I first met Karen through my brother Pat, who is also in the room with us today. Pat is Karen's videographer and has shot many of her events over the years. It was through him that I met Karen, where I started working as her nanny, looking after Louis from when he was just 8 months old. Over the years, my role has evolved, and today I am Karen's executive assistant and business manager. It wasn't until June 2019 where everything changed for me. Karen and I were taking a walk along the Wynnum foreshore when she turned to me and asked, if you could have anything, what would you love? And I had to think about it, and in that moment I said, I would love to own my own home. In that moment I was flooded by so many emotions. I was scared what the people around me at the time would think, or even if I could achieve it. I was excited that I had given light to something that I never even thought was possible for me, and I felt a fire in my belly. I was determined to do it. So this question also unlocked something in me. It made me realize that I had never truly thought about what I wanted, what I loved. I had never really given myself permission to dream. So that afternoon, I got home and I started studying the real estate market, and I wrote in my journal, I am so happy and grateful I am a homeowner before the age of 24. At the same time, I was also studying thinking into results, learning how my self-image, how I saw myself, was directly shaping my reality. So at the time, my self-image was not someone who owned a home at 23. The idea of it was actually quite terrifying. So I had to start shifting that idea. I had to start seeing myself as someone who owned a beautiful 3-bed, 2-bath home, and I started believing it was already mine. And within 10 months, I bought my first home.
Woo!
Thank you. And when I bought my first home, it felt really natural to me because I had been living there months and months before I even knew this house existed. I have to admit, it wasn't all that glamorous. My real estate agent, who also happened to be my brother's friend, had stipulated in the contract upon sale that I had to play Goon of Fortune with my New Hills hoist in the backyard. Now, so here you can see me and my real estate agent and the cask of wine hiding behind his head there, and the obligatory Goon of Fortune game. Now, if you don't know what this game entails, I think you're doing all right. So here I was, a first homeowner, covered in cask wine, and as happy as a pig in mud. So here's something I've also learnt. Self-image work never ends. It's not something that you master once and forget about. It's something that you keep evolving, upgrading, and refining. So when I had achieved the goal of buying my first home before 24, I began working on my next goal. And in the words of Karen, what would you love? So I had a little think about it, and 3 homes before 30 had a really nice ring to it. So that's been a goal of mine for some time now. In 2022, I bought my second home, and I stand here today settling on my 3rd property in 2 weeks' time, or within 5 years. Thank you. And don't worry, I didn't just take some random house off realestate.com. That's actually the house I'm moving into. So I just haven't had the opportunity to get a photo in front of it yet. But in saying all of this, self-image wasn't just about home ownership. It was about every area of my life. When I began to realize that I had surrounded myself with people who didn't support the person I wanted to become, were draining my energy, and quite frankly, were just not good for me, I knew I had to shift my self-image again. I had to see myself as someone who only allowed healthy, supporting, and loving relationships into my life. And this shift led me to cutting ties with toxic people, rekindling beautiful friendships that I had once isolated myself from, and finding love that made me feel safe and secure for the first time in my life. I was a different person, and I just wasn't on the same frequency as the people I once had been. And that in itself was extremely liberating. For people in the room who are employers or business owners and leaders, this can apply to attracting clients, people who you want to work with. It's all about being on the same frequency as people you want to do business with or you want in your life. As someone who had struggled with weight and food my whole life, I knew I wanted to become healthier, which had reached a tipping point in 2023. I would look at myself in the mirror and just not resonate with the person looking back at me. So I knew I had to upgrade my self-image again. I had to stop my self-limiting beliefs that I had placed on myself, that I was unworthy of being fit and healthy. I had to shift into the identity of someone who nourished and loved their body, and using the same methods as I had with my homes. And over the course of 12 months, I had easily and effortlessly released 25 kilos and healed my relationship with food. And it wasn't through diets, but it was through accepting a new idea of myself. So here I was last year, competing in my first fitness event that I once would have thought was a complete fantasy. I now love the way I feel. I treat myself with more respect and love. And I think this is a testament to how differently I feel about myself. Even the clothes I wear today are a reflection of my evolving self-image. So at my first event as Karen's PA, I wore a whole outfit of hand-me-downs, and I felt pretty snazzy. I mean, She's really feeling herself right there. But Karen likes to remind me that I was wearing a tablecloth. I don't know. Okay, yeah, right. No, she looks great. Here's another great example. This was one of Karen's events in 2019, where I wore my absolute best $10 all-in-one sweater tee combo. But what was lingering beneath this photo and that hair of mine was a big lumpy dreadlock. Now, I'm not saying dreadlocks are bad, but I'm saying it never should have been a phase of mine. And I can laugh about it now, or maybe cringe, I don't know. But this is just fast forward to today, I feel comfortable spending money on myself because I know how good it makes me feel. I think this is just a reminder that every time I elevated how I saw myself, my outer world changed to match it as well. Here's something I've also learnt though. Self-compassion is essential in this process because you can only operate at the level of awareness you're at. You will attract what you think you deserve at that point in time. And if you don't change the root issue, your self-image, you'll keep attracting the same results over and over again. And that's okay because awareness is growth. We're all learning and evolving. But if you do want to live a life that's rich and fulfilling, you do have to become the person. So if there's anything I want you to take away from this, it's that your self-image really is at the heart of your results. And in order to achieve the goal, you have got to become the person. So here I am, a 28-year-old who can confidently say my life has changed in the best way possible since I met Karen, because I needed to borrow her belief in me before I believed in myself. From buying my first and second homes to now settling on my third before 30, from things as little as staying in $5 hostel rooms to $500 hotels, from healing my body to healing the relationship with myself, from releasing people that no longer served me to finding love, from feeling lost to knowing exactly where I'm going. You're never too old or too young to become the person you want to be. So if there's anything I can ask you, it's that if you could have anything, what would you love? And more importantly, are you ready to see yourself as the person who already has it? Because when you do, everything changes. Thank you.